Hello everyone, welcome to Top 10 Character Moments. Today we're breaking down my list for the top 10 best moments of Jedi Master Plo Koon. Be sure to tune in every Friday to watch my latest top 10 video. In each video, I will break down my list for a specific character's best moments and why I like them so much. Make sure you guys stay in tune next week as we will be breaking down my picks for the top 10 best moments of Caleb Doom, also known as Kanan Jarrus. And make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. It's free and it really helps support me as a content creator. Thank you guys. And with that, let's get into some honorable mentions. Though for this one, it's going to be a little bit different than what I normally do. For today's honorable mention, I want to give a shout out to Dave Filoni and his obsession with Plo Koon. But I guess more specifically, his idea to create concept art of Plo Koon in The Mandalorian taking on the Dark Troopers. It was written in the scripts too. People on set didn't know that it was Luke Skywalker until the day of. Dave knew that the fans knew how much he loved Plo Koon and used that to his advantage. And it worked because Luke Skywalker was the only person in The Mandalorian Season 2 that was actually kept secret. Everyone else like Boba Fett, Bo-Katan, and Ahsoka were all leaked. The only thing we're missing is a deep fake of Plo Koon in that entire scene taking on the Dark Troopers. Let's take this a step further than just concept art, you know what I'm saying? Come on, I think that'd be hilarious. Alright, let's get into the list itself. Here we go. At number 10, helping rescue the crew that went to the Citadel. Plo Koon was very essential in the tactical side of the Citadel mission, including the rescue of our heroes. He put trust in his fellow companions between the people needing extraction and the people going to rescue them. Masters Tin and Galia had their doubts, but Plo knew that they'd all get the job done. Speaking of the Citadel, at number 9, assigning Ahsoka Tano to the Citadel mission. Now let's be clear, he didn't actually assign her to any mission. Ahsoka lied so she could just be a part of it. But when confronted by Anakin and Obi-Wan on whether or not he did assign her, his response was, "It appears I did." Plo was probably thinking that moment, well, from a certain point of view. At number 8, telling Anakin to trust his Padawan. When Ahsoka goes missing during the Battle of Felucia, Anakin panics. He's so desperate to find his lost apprentice. Plo Koon tries to help Anakin let go, but to little success. The final words he leaves Anakin with are essentially, "If you've trained her well, she can take care of herself and find her way back to you." I'm trying with this Plo Koon impression, guys. Plo obviously wants to see Ahsoka safe too, but the difference between him and Anakin is Plo doesn't let his emotions cloud his judgment. That's a good Jedi right there. At number 7, finding Ahsoka Tano. This moment lasted mere seconds during one of the traditional Clone Wars Tom Kane narrated intros, but we get to see Plo Koon extending his hand to little Ahsoka. I'm not entirely sure, but I think the Tales of the Jedi series is going to go more in depth with this moment, and I cannot wait to see it. The more content and lore we get from my favorite character, the better it is for me. At number 6, his piloting skills during the Battle of Felucia. At the start of Season 2 of the Clone Wars animated series, we see Plo Koon showing off his piloting skills. Honestly, Plo was probably the second best pilot in the Order at the time besides Anakin. Number 5, continuing the pilot trend. His work at the Battle of Kadavo. Probably the moment that stands out the most is when he's being chased by 2 fighters and Plo tells his droid to cut the engines, proceeds to start spinning backwards until he gets behind the fighters, and then shoots them down. It's so badass. Number 4, defending the escape pod in space. In one of the first episodes of the Clone Wars, we see Plo Koon and 3 clones trying to survive after their fleet was destroyed by the Malevolence. When droid hunters attack their pod, they go outside in space to defend it. Plo's species, the Keldor, are able to withstand the pressure in the vacuum of space for a brief time. Plo was deflecting blaster bolts, force-pushing droids, and cutting up the droids' boarding ships, all while floating. Again, what a badass. At number 3, showing how much he cares about the clones. In that same Clone Wars episode, there are several moments where Plo shows us that he doesn't just look at the clones as soldiers, but as human beings. This to me is such a crucial moment because at the start of the Clone Wars, we don't have much reason to care about the clones, and Plo starts to plant the seeds of why we should. And every time I watch this episode and one of the clones says we're meant to be expendable, I'm just like, no you're not. Not to me.
We're just clones, sir. We're meant to be expendable.
Not
to me.
At number 2, finding the lightsaber of Sifo Dyas. In the Lost Missions of the Clone Wars, now known as Season 6, Plo Koon and the Wolfpack are sent to the moon of Obadiah to discover the location of a distress signal that was received at the Jedi Temple. There they discover a ship of a Jedi thought to be lost. In that ship was a Jedi's lightsaber. Plo contacts the Jedi Council to inform them of this discovery. Yoda confirms that the lightsaber did indeed belong to the late Sifo Dyas. The moment sets up a really good arc with Yoda learning the truth of who really created the clone army and learning how to maintain his consciousness after death. And finally, at number 1, his confrontation with Aurra Sing. Now you might be asking, Ryan, of all the Plo Koon moments that could be number 1, why this one? Simple. With the exception of his piloting skills, this scene represents all of Plo Koon's strengths. Patience, intelligence, calmness, his ability to negotiate, his ability to fight, all demonstrated in this scene. The guy had a blaster aimed directly at him at point blank, and the man was still unfazed. There was also potential for hostages to die as well, and Plo handled everything perfectly. He got under Aurra's skin, made Boba second guess himself, waited for them both to make their moves, and then he struck. If someone asked me about Plo Koon, this would be the first scene of his that I'd tell them to watch. Hands down my favorite Plo Koon moment. So there you have it, guys. That's my list for the top 10 Plo Koon moments. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this video with others to help support the channel, and I will see you guys next time.
We're just clones, sir. We're meant to be expendable.
Not to me.